What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 104 of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast featuring your Three Stones Pit Crew. I'm your Jack Mankel.
I'm your tire changer Cam.
And I'm your gas man Cam.
And we've got a busy episode today. Boots on the ground for all three of us at a bunch of different races. We're going to cover what the Cup playoff picture looks like now, being that we didn't really get to watch the race. And then we're going to dive into what is going to be probably the longest section from now until the season starts again with news in the silly season. So lots to cover in terms of driver changes, staffing changes, and the whole bunch. But before we get too far into this, fellas, I know we're only 24 hours from being apart from being together, but how have the last 24 hours been, I guess?
I don't know what everybody else got home at, but I hit the bed at about 11:15 last night.
That's it?
Yeah,
Yeah, 11:15, and that was with a gas and food stop.
That's not horrible.
I also sped about most of the way home, but that's besides the point.
yeah, we know about the lead foot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that
Especially-
made up some damn good ground for me 2 times this entire weekend. So
No, pretty solid weekend. And we'll get into it. Fortunately, we got some quality time together. So now we're spending some time together. We were doing it at the racetrack. So busy weekend for us, all three of us, boots on the ground, and took in some live racing. So overall, good weekend. It's fun. So got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that, the Wisconsin sports report is pretty status quo. Packers squeaked one out. The Brewers are no longer alive. And Luke Fickle is employed. I guess that's where we're just going to leave that conversation, question mark. Frustrating, I guess is the best way to say it.
Dude, they're 34.5 point underdogs this week.
We could get beat
Vegas expects them to win by 35 points. Just think about how far we've fallen. Anyways, I could talk on that for hours too. But wow, it's dark times for the boys in football. So let's talk about something that's not so dark.
Speaking of talking about something not so dark, so we're the first two kind of events we're going to cover here. We were all at the Dells Raceway Park on Saturday afternoon for what's kind of the last big asphalt show up here for us in the Midwest. We got to see a handful of divisions run. The first one we'll kind of dive into, and as we previewed it last week, Midwest Truck Series had one hell of a championship battle going into that event on Saturday. So where do we want to start with the truckers?
well, we kind of talked about it that it was then we talked about this at the track. Obviously, it was the two guys. We pretty much hoped that them two could race it out against each other. That there was no outside influence. There was no, you know, guys weren't leading it, letting guys go or anything like that. Like we wanted to see the same truck racing that we've seen the entire year and guys just racing each other really hard and let them two, however that race plays out is how the race plays out.
Yep.
And I think we saw that.
Yeah, I would agree. They're definitely, yeah. It was still a really great race all around, really. So
You know what I think? Where do you start? I mean, I think you start early on in the day, right from practice, and then not only that, but then you go to qualifying, and I mean, you just felt the anticipation building. Obviously, as those two were the last two to qualify, um, and Reichenberger goes P3
Yeah.
with one truck to go, and then not to be outdone, Griesbach goes top of the charts. Final truck out, and then yeah, every point matters, and that was the start of a solid day for him. But boy, that was intriguing to say the least. Last two out, going at it for points, and I mean, you want to talk about every point matter, every point counting. Saw that with the old two eyeballs on Saturday afternoon.
Yep. So that was qualifying. Then we got the heat races, and again, just outright counting positions. Really good heat races. Reichenberger ended up finishing second in his heat. And I don't remember where Griesbach finished.
Give me a minute. I could probably tell you.
But Brandon got a few points back on him in the heat race to kind of close the difference on the points basically from qualifying is really what it came down to. So that was kind of broke even almost there a little bit. I think it went from -7 to -9.
It went from 14 to 9. Yeah, and I think to 7 because he needed a win by 8 because Griesbach got the tiebreaker.
Yep. Yep, the average finish. So again, just outright counting positions in terms of where you're going to be. And then, like we said, I mean, honestly, it really was. There were a couple late race restarts for just a couple spins. It really was, again, this was really just a good Midwest Truck Series race.
Yep.
Wreck anything real hard.
Now, Noble.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, we did have one over in turn two. But there was two late race restarts, but for the most part, I mean, the race was pretty clean. We were through halfway before the first caution.
Yep.
So,
and you saw early on how that race was going to play out based on that.
Yep. And then it was just a matter of could you get your line to go?
Yep.
You had guys that could run the top, and Brandon was one that was willing on those last couple of restarts to take the top as the leader. So you could make the top go. So it was just could you get your line going? And fortunately for the three, his line did. And then Griesbach just kind of got trapped in traffic, really.
Yeah.
Got boxed in and then struggled. And then once they kind of got strung out, he just really could never pick those positions back. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, what it comes down to is Brandon finished second, ultimately claiming the championship. Wins the championship by 12 points.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was honestly a good race.
Yeah, so Griesbach finished 7th in that one.
Yep.
Let's see. Griesbach finished 4th in his heat, and Reichenberger finished 2nd in his heat.
Yep.
That's how that went.
Yeah, there was just a while there where it felt like either had the truck on to be able to do it on the outside or you didn't. And if you didn't and you got stuck out there, you were in trouble. I feel like that was the case. I don't know that we ever really got to see what Griesbach really had come feature time just because just so early on he got stuck on the outside and was just fighting for his life on that outside lane and just could never get down. But yeah, it was if you had the truck to do it, you could do it. Like you said, and it ultimately, I mean, that paid off for Brandon to get the lead. But then he also went on the outside there for that final restart as the leader and ended up not working out for him. Still finishing second, but was the leader and picked the outside. So, uh, yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Just that whole scenario you had and just counting trucks between them the whole night, whole day, and good hard racing.
I do got to give it to Griesbach though. Obviously, he knew the situation that he was in and what was playing out, and he didn't rough anybody up to try and get the positions that he needed.
Yeah, because that last restart when they doubled them up, what was there 6 or 7 to go?
Yep.
It was late. He could have had the chance to just, I don't want to say sail it off in there, but like you could pitch yourself down to the inside and then you can move 2 trucks at a time when they're side by side, which they don't have the 3 wide rule, but he would have had the chance to make a lane for himself and he chose not to.
Yep.
So again, that comes back to the respect of the racing up here. When you're counting, he's looking at the 3 trucks in front of him, and they're all a truck length apart for what he needs to potentially win a title. And that was the decision was not to do that.
Yep.
I mean, come on, we've all been that guy growing up on NASCAR where you're playing video games and you're 2 or 3 rows back on a late race restart on the old PS4, and you're like, "Oh, I watch this," and you just send her in there.
PS4. I was
Uh,
going to say the old PS2.
Yeah,
yeah, but no, like you said, ultimately, and I think he knew midway through the race too what was going on, and just yeah, um, it's easy to lose your cool and do something that think you could give you a shot, but just played the card, played the hand he was dealt, raced it out clean, and uh, overall just solid race.
I will say that following the Midwest Truck Series more closely this season, what a hell of a season!
Oh, brother. Yeah.
At one point they had run 10 races and had 9 different winners, and I mean, what an absolute hell of a season!
I'm about to say I can, if you give me a hot minute, I can look up what the final gist of that was.
Just a great season start to finish. It is cool that they do follow along with some of our bigger Midwest tour or our Midwest racing
Yep.
car jewels. When you talk about the Shear, you talk about the Howie, you talk about the Jim Sauter at the Dells. And it is cool that they follow along because they get to go race in front of big crowds.
Yep. For the record, we finished with 10 different winners, and we went on a stretch of 9 races with 9 different winners.
And that was 14 events, correct? 14 races, I believe.
15.
15.
Yep, 15.
Damn. It's kind of sad it's over now.
The thing is, too, is like, and this just tells you about consistency, which you talk about another points situation. But besides the point, Reichenberger only won 1 race this year.
Yep.
Griesbach had 2.
Yep. Consistency of just finishing races where you can get points.
Yep.
So I don't hell of a season.
Oh yeah. Definitely glad we were able to follow it a little more closely. Definitely will follow it a lot more closely as the years go on. Um just one of the, and just one of the good series that we got
Yep.
up here in the Midwest. Kind of what it's one of those series like you don't want to change anything because it's just so good the way that it is.
Yep. Absolutely. So Any final thoughts before we go ahead and jump over to the super late side?
No, again, great season
Great
and
season.
great merch.
Oh yeah. Yep. You run that through the washer yet or no?
No, I haven't actually. I haven't really had a chance to throw it through the washer yet. So
We'll touch on that in a minute. Uh, Staying at the same track, jumping over to the super late model side. So kind of had, as we mentioned, the co-sanction events with the Alive for Five super late model and the Tundra super late models running both at the Falloween. They had a co-sanction event early in the year planned, and Mother Nature got that. So here we are for the Falloween, and they ran together. But man, this one had a few storylines, and it was interesting early because it was Greena's goal from the get go,
yep.
and it was a little aggressive.
The boys were racing. I mean, it was literally the last race of the season, and they were racing like it.
Yeah,
Like they had all winter to repair the cars. Now, given, did we wreck a lot of stuff? No, not necessarily. But
no,
boy, were they trying to.
yeah. Fenders were getting used and getting used up a little bit. Um, Looking at some of the storylines, um, I think Summers and Sauter was kind of the big one as they were racing for second and got together. I will say got together. And ultimately that Sauter turns it around and ultimately it sends both those guys to the back. So that kind of shook the race up a little bit with those two guys having fast race cars and then having to go to the tail. So um sends those two fast cars to the back, and then really late in the race they were just kind of single car spins um that played out uh the rest of the race really. Heinrich spun on his own into, did Jankowski get turned around at 1.2?
Jankowski spun on his own. Yep.
Yep. But yeah, really no big wrecks.
Big
Uh,
long green flag run.
yep. Yeah, long green flag run. Um, but it was just kind of the story of your veteran guys or the guys that have a lot of laps around the Dells are going to find their way to the front. Johnson was one of them. Just kind of meticulously, one after
Yep.
another, picking them up and putting them down, just doing what he does. Um, and
Fenhouse
then
kind of followed him, but he was racing with Johnson pretty much the entire race as well. They were kind of, Fenhouse was out in front of him early. Johnson got around him, but Fenhouse stuck right with him.
yep, just followed him through the holes. Um,
He
right?
squared up that front stretch wall.
Yeah, he had white walls on
Yeah,
afterwards.
Yeah.
early. Yeah,
Yeah, that
through.
was pretty early in the race that he squared up the front stretch wall there when things were getting dicey. Yeah.
Talk about a guy that needed a good run and got a good run. Ryan Farrell.
Back-to-back weeks or
Yep.
weekends, I guess you would say, of racing.
Yeah, he's been after all of the chasing the mechanical gremlins all summer to finish the season on the podium. I think he was more than happy with that for the time being.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you obviously want to win those, but with the stretch of the summer of gremlins, was happy to put one together and finish all 100 on the podium.
And he got up to second at one point and held off Johnson pretty decently, but
Yep.
Johnson just being the pro that he is, just kind of he found his opportunity, he took his opportunity.
Well, I think the opportunity came. I mean, I think he was holding his own. There was that, what was the late race caution there? Single car spin. I think was it 10 to go. Um,
Was that the Heinrich spin?
Yeah.
with 10 to go, and I mean, obviously,
You got to take the outside.
you got to take the front. Yeah, you got to take the front row. And ultimately, he took the front row, and just drove his tail off. But you're racing the best of the best in Casey Johnson there. And Johnson was just able to get to his inside there, and ultimately complete the pass. But I mean, like you said there, for the majority of the race was good car, holding his own, running second. And can't blame him for taking the front row. That's what you got to do. And ultimately, Johnson got by him there late, last 10 or so laps, get second, and Farrell to go to third. But yeah, pretty solid night all around.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have one car leading all 100 on my bingo card.
And leading as dominantly as he did. I mean, he had straightaway lead, a little more than a straightaway lead the entire race. Tristan Swanson.
Yep. That
I
kid
mean,
had a hell of a day.
yeah.
Let it green the checkers, and I mean he was picking them up and putting them down. There was really no other way about it. Just lapping cars left and right.
And didn't stumble when it came to the restarts.
Yep. He was on his game. He knew what he wanted to do. Kind of kept everyone off balance a little bit just to give himself a little advantage, and everything played out the way he needed it to.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, I mean, we raced a little harder than normal, but pretty solid Midwest race again.
Yep. Good way to end the year off for them guys.
Yeah.
For those that aren't going to go down to the big league or, some of them other ones, as far as up here in the Midwest, that
Yep.
was a good way to end her off.
Yeah, for sure. Any kind of final thoughts on the Dalles Raceway Park Saturday collectively? We'll touch on champs in a minute. So,
We the after curricular activities,
oh boy, pinch me because that was wild, dude.
that was something else.
It was insanity.
Oh. I mean, it started with getting that.
Go get your piece of show and tell over there. I don't know why you just didn't have it ready.
I got a camera set up here.
When he backs that mean mug away, it lights up a little bit. So this is what we had to haul home. So there's your door off. Yep, here's your door off of the Brandon's truck. That's the door right off the championship truck. So it started with that. And then yeah. So it started with that. That was the start of the day. We watched the motor get pulled. We watched the door get yanked off the truck. And then you walk down the pits and they go, "You want to go to Leo's?" Never been. You gotta go.
And we're like, well, our arms are twisted at that point.
Yep. It's 8 o'clock. We can go for a little while. Man, I
What a joint.
highly recommend.
What a joint.
Oh man, I had a damn blast. That was awesome.
Yep. If it
So,
wasn't for the fact that we had to drive back to your place
yeah,
and was it late at night? No, but it was starting to get to that point.
yeah.
We would have hung around for a lot longer.
Oh yeah, because it would have only got to be more fun.
Yep.
So yeah, if you head over to Dells Raceway Park, if you're leaving, stop at Leo's on the way out.
Yep.
Stop there before you go in too, if you're around.
Sure.
So, well, that kind of wraps up Saturday for the three of us. And then what do we do? Well, there's a race in Sun Prairie at Angel Park. So we went bombing up there on Sunday afternoon for the World of Outlaws sprint cars and the Badger Midgets. So, cool to finally see Ford 10 feature racing for me.
Yep.
I tried twice before that and I took my
Denied.
ball. Yeah, I took my ball and went home because Mother Nature said, "Yeah, we're not playing today." So I got rained out twice already. But no, another new track for me. So that was cool to see.
Did you put the flag on the map?
Oh, of course I did.
There you go.
Good idea. But no, nice facility, cool place.
Yep.
We have, what do you have? 25 sprint cars.
We had 25 sprint cars and 21 midgets.
Oh, midgets. So good car count for late in the year, especially for the midget guys not really racing for points, just kind of a one-off deal, right?
I guess there was points involved, but most of the like champ was already crowned. You were doing like maybe a position here and there.
Got it. Okay. But no, Angel Park, World of Outlaw sprint cars, Badger midgets. Cool place, great facility. Um, and man, those guys were hauling around that place.
Before we kind of dive into the race in action, I want to get Cam's opinion here because two scenarios, well, in half of your opinion as well, because two scenarios played out. One, obviously, was your guys' both first race for both a sprint car and a midget. But
Yep.
Kellen, you had gotten the experience of walking through the pits and seeing a sprint car up close as well. Cam, what was your experience kind of seeing both a sprint car and a midget up close in person?
I think it's exactly what you'd expect. I mean, a kid in a toy store. Um, I mean, it's just, yep. I mean, it's just like anything. Like you sit there and like for us, whether it's NASCAR, sprint car, dirt late models, like we spend so much time every year, like watching it on TV, and then just to be there up close and personal, like is yeah, it's just an awesome experience. Didn't realize how big those right rear tires are. Um,
Huge.
yeah. Um, but no, I again, I think it's awesome, and I think for us, if I go back, um, it would be the same exact thing. Like it just just because we are passionate, and it's just something that you don't get to see every single day or every weekend or every month. And so when these guys come around and it's like, holy smokes, like I've been watching you on TV for how many years? Um, and to actually be standing there looking at your car and the inside of it and just um yeah, I mean it's an awesome experience.
Yeah,
And
you don't realize how big the top wings are either. TV proportions don't do those things justice. Between the wings and the right rears.
yep.
So no, yeah, it was great. So
And then obviously seeing them in racing action, like, hot laps is one thing, but actually getting to see them race and how quick things happen as well. Yes, they happen quick on TV, but they just seem to be a tad bit quicker when you're at the track.
yep. Speaking of quick, can we talk about qualifying?
We are,
What did we have? 5 guys break the track record.
yep, we had three of them in practice, and then officially in qualifying, we had, yeah,
I think it was 4. And David Gravel ended up getting quick time, right?
yep. He came out of nowhere with his second lap. Like,
Yeah, a lot of guys were slowing down
Yeah.
on the second lap, and he picked up and he went into the 11.5s.
Well, he botched his first lap, which he said in his post race interview, and I saw it on the first lap. Is he was struggling to figure out 3 and 4 a little bit. And I think he said in his after he went quick time there, he about hit the infield tracker tire in the first lap, and so I mean, yeah, we set the tone pretty early on with track record, and you know they were a couple guys that already went track record time in hot laps, so uh, you knew it was going to happen, and then again, leave it to the golden boy to be the last one to go out and to go quick time. think he went 11.55 or something like that. He was
Yep.
in the 11.5s. So yeah, she was hammered down right from the get go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was broke track record, and then got into heat race, and then got to see one go upside down. Well, not upside down, flopped it over on its side.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's definitely more violent in person than it is on TV. I can tell you that much.
And then the one midget car that we saw go for hell of a tumble in turn 3 and 4. I mean, that
That, ba-
was
that baby was top of the fence, high off the ground. Yeah,
that one
that
got some air.
that one it just happens way faster in person than it does watching it on TV. But
Yep.
no, I mean once we got going with the feature, was there one or two cautions? Just one, I think.
Just one.
It was just one. It was what, 3, 4 laps in for the 7.
Something like that. Yeah.
Just couldn't get up to speed. He had issues. He hit the wall in his heat race. Just trying to make a few laps to get scored. But brings out the caution. They push him into the infield, and then they cut her loose, and she went green the rest of the distance.
Yep.
So
And it was one of those that, I mean, she rubbered up quick. So it
yep.
was trying to find that grip throughout the race. Uh, Emerson Axelmill led a few number of laps, but when Sheldon Hansfield got out front, he was gone.
Well, when he fell on the top, I mean, he went blasting by gravel, and you're like,
Yep.
all right, well, let's see what he's got for the 27. And then he just went rip roaring right around the top on the 27, and it was set sail from there. And he got not that the track locked down, but it did a little bit, especially late in the race. He made his passes while the track was still in a spot that you could make passes and move around.
Yep.
He got aggressive early, was willing to experiment a little bit, and he found himself leading the race before one, you get into lap traffic, but two, the track starts to lock down just a little bit. So yeah, he was sailing it in the top. He was just watching him carry that speed through 3 and 4 was insane. You could just see him closing and closing, and then there was like 2 laps that he closed like a half a straightaway, like in the matter of 2 laps, and it was like, all right, this dude's got something for him.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it interesting there at the end.
Oh, lappers that Axum got within what, car and a half in
He
one.
was side by side at one point with him through the turn.
It got really damn interesting with the lap traffic on that last lap.
Yep.
But yeah, hell of a race. I hope they come back.
I do too.
Well, and I was gonna say that too, just based on, obviously awesome show, but for those of us that were there, temperatures were pretty brisk um in the stands there. And for it to be a fall afternoon in October, I mean, Wisconsin race fans showed up. I felt like
Oh yeah.
I was. I mean, they were the main event, and I was pleasantly surprised how many people showed up. So, like you said, um, yeah, I'm hoping they keep the event. And honestly, being a Sunday night, like I drove back to Point last night, and it was hour and 40 minutes from the track. I mean, that was an efficient show. To be able to do that and on Sunday night walk in the door and be home at 10 after 10, like
Yeah, it was racing was wrapped up. We were standing there listening to interviews at 20 after 8. We walked out at 8:30, and we were on the road at 8:35.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Um
yeah,
and
go ahead.
they no they I mean they kept it rolling all night long, and the only part they ended up um cutting out was the last chance showdown. um
And actually, even then, that was um, more of a formality because they could start everybody then because of the car that dropped out.
Yeah. So no, that was a well-run program.
Yeah.
Efficient across the board to the wrecks and just there's nothing worse than watching a race and you have a wreck and it feels like it takes forever to get it hooked up and taken care of, whether it was midgets, sprint cars, like it was, they were on it. So
Yep.
efficiently run program. Yeah. And a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Getting them gritty teeth.
Yeah. Those first, 15 laps?
Dusty.
She was tough.
Well, there was that restart. I got pelted. I got pelted right
Oh,
here.
yeah. We were sitting there and he's sitting to my right. And by God, I looked over and I just see him go, oh, and he like covered himself up. I go, what? And he goes, that must have been a rock. And he hit him like right in the neck.
Yeah, it hit me right here.
uh,
Yep. And then the
that was
dust coming down and wearing a black sweatshirt. I mean, that dust showed up pretty
Yep.
nicely on there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't know. I think Angel Park's a great facility. Would highly recommend to visit.
Yep.
They've got a few other series that come through there as well. And you talk about Dirt King late models and the Badger midgets and IRA sprint cars and uh,
USAC.
USAC will swing through. So they've got cool series either. So even if sprint cars aren't your deal or your jam, they've got other events that'll swing through there too. So
Yep.
yeah, cool deal.
And ultimately, though, too, obviously Sheldon won that race. Talk about, giving yourself a case for being a driver next year.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty decent for a crew that's only had 4 races together to be able to win, too.
And it's again, like you mentioned in his interview, it's an interesting situation. I just wanted to keep winning races. Well, he's fired, but he's still winning races.
Yep.
Fired or left, however you want to phrase it. Um, but yeah, still proving that he's a national and touring guy and he can win races doing it.
Yep. 100%.
Cool. Any other final thoughts before we shuffle over to the Cup Series side of things?
Glad we were able to pull this one off.
Just an absolute great weekend, to be honest.
Yep.
Few shenanigans, lots of racing, and we all got to hang out together.
As I said on the way down there, it's a good weekend to have a good weekend.
Oh, absolutely. I honestly, I think I got sunburnt on Saturday.
Did
I,
you really?
I think my nose and my face from underneath my glasses, I think I'm burnt through the face.
Huh.
So that's
Oh, we weren't too far away from it, but pretty damn close to doing sunburn and frostbite the same week.
yeah. Yeah, she got chillier on Sunday night when the sun went under. But all right.
That was the old doubleheader weekend for us. That was a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna jump over to the Cup Series side of things here. Obviously, as we just had mentioned, we were at Angel Park on Sunday, so not getting a chance to watch anything but the last 2 laps of the race. We're just gonna kind of dive into or take a look at what the final four for the NASCAR Cup Series is gonna look like. So we're just gonna kind of talk playoff situations, over and under achievers. We're gonna kind of see who's maybe a favorite at this point and what you could potentially expect at Martinsville. So, looking at, I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. You got 2 guys that are locked in currently: Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin. All right, those are 2 of the 4. Fire away. Where do you want to start?
Well, I alluded to it slightly here. Just in last night when after we were talking a little bit on at the track. I don't know. I'm starting to feel a little bit like um, I don't have the sports team to compare him to, but like Hendrick. Like I'm just kind of scratching my brain here right now with what goes on. Like they're trying to win the regular season, and then we get to the playoffs, and it's just like I don't know what goes on there. I mean, you're sitting at three Toyotas and in one Chevy in the playoffs right now, or in the Final Four, and
There's a Ford. There's two Fords that are really good at Martinsville that could rattle this whole thing up in a hurry.
well, and that's the old 12 machine. Obviously, for those four that are below, it's you got to win. Um,
Yep.
but the old 12 machine, uh, he's got nothing to lose, and I think he's done it back to back years, hasn't he? He's going for the three-peat.
Yeah, but I also don't like the chances of, personally, obviously me being a Blaney fan, I don't like the chances of Bacon on a three-peat either. I mean, it was hard enough to go back to back, and now you're asking for a three-peat? Ew.
Well, I don't. So when we look at this, so Byron's currently fifth in the standings at 36 to the bad. Can he even point his way in?
Mathematically, yes.
Okay.
He can mathematically his way in. The maximum number of points that somebody can score in a race is 61 points.
So he would need either Bell or Larson to break almost immediately and then just rack up a bunch of points.
Correct. So, dude, the true only guy that needs to win is Chase Elliott. He cannot point his way in.
He is 62 to the bad.
He has to win. So,
I didn't have William Byron down here in fifth.
and talk about two tough races. I mean, you obviously had what happened in Vegas, and then get spun coming to the checkered at Dega. For a guy that was looking to be, obviously, I think he was the preseason championship favorite.
He was my pick to be the champ.
Yep.
He's not even getting a Final Four. I mean, here's another question for you. We asked about the 11 last week. Is the 19 hot enough to win this whole deal?
I mean,
He's won a race there in some bad equipment.
correct. I mean, again, just on the recency bias, momentum goes a long ways.
I
So,
mean, if this Final Four shakes out this way, I mean, Joe Gibbs has got the championship locked up without a doubt. I shouldn't say without a doubt. I would say with fair amount of certainty based on the trend of the Hendrick cars right now. If Kyle Larson is the one to get in.
I also thought of this the other day too when I was driving this whole or last night. Briscoe winning that the old excuse me, it don't do a lot of good for the old 54 camp.
I mean, 54 camp is just scratching their brains right now. You're going to have your other three teammates. You hope to get one or two cars into the Final Four. Joe Gibbs might be 3 for 4 here yet before this is
And I
said
and I
done.
shouldn't and I'm not even alluding to that portion of it. That portion of it is even worse. But I'm just alluding to the portion of like, hey, he's wrapping up his third year, and you just brought somebody over to take over that 19 machine and Chase Briscoe, and it's his first year there, and he's hitting the Joe Gibbs standard right now. He's winning races, running up front, and doing what he does. He's got himself locked in the Final Four in his first year with that team. So I just think it just doesn't do anything good for the 54 camp. Just Yeah, with what they've got going on there, like how can the other three cars be so good? Like what are we doing here? You gotta think it's solely comes down to driver, correct?
I mean, there's scenarios where somebody said that Joe Gibbs has got the eye for talent. I mean, look at how many guys he signed on over the years and have turned careers around or, you know, gotten to be as dominant as they are. If you want to look at it. So he is obviously he's in the lead in the point standings, in the current point standings. In the non-playoff standings, he's fourth. So I mean, talk about having a career year with 3 wins.
He has the second best average finish of the four Joe Gibbs cars. The only one better than him is Christopher Bell.
Who
He's
went?
a he's a solid 2 positions better on average finish than Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
Bell's an 11-3. Briscoe was an 11-7, and then Denny's in the low 13s. I mean, this guy is putting together a year.
Oh, absolutely.
3 wins and 19 top tens. He's led not quite 900 laps. 881 to be exact. So
I don't know, man. If this playoff format saw us anything, it saw us that anything can happen. And look, he's got himself in the dance. And now
can't
that
do
he's
it.
in it,
Yep.
bingo. Can't win the championship if you're not in it. Like you said, this was a couple years ago when he won that race and introduced us to his hairline um, at Phoenix. This, I
You
mean,
cannot get off of that, can you?
um,
Hey, some of us are not follically gifted like you are.
he that wind just kept catching it and just
Well, it's one thing to not be gifted, it's another thing to do something about it.
um, Joey did. Um, yeah,
Went over to Russia.
Joey came back last year and it was like, whoa, can I get me some of that? Um,
Oh my.
yeah,
Anyways,
no, I'm just saying. Like you said, you got to give yourself a shot. Can't win the Super Bowl if you aren't in the game.
yep.
And he's got himself in the game, and so I mean, dude, you start rattling off stats like that: 19 top tens, 3 wins, like 19 top tens. He's in the top 10 50% of the race, 50% of the year, more than that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Joe Gibbs has got to be sitting there thrilled with where he's at, and Mr. Big H has got to be scratching the old brain.
Yeah.
I guess while we sit here, um, do the standings stay as is, or does somebody get a win and lock themselves in?
So I'm going to pose a couple points to this to you. 1 point. It's no secret that Blaney is good there. He'll be decent. I don't know, 3 in a row would be a godsend.
Correct.
The other thing I'm going to tell you is at one point, this exact Hendrick camp went 1-4 at Martinsville too. At one point, when they all ran those red race cars, at one point, I can't remember what. It been a 2024 maybe.
More. Yep.
And if I remember correctly, did William Byron win that race?
He sure did.
So I'm not saying that I'm going to go ahead and make him my race winning pick, but I'm going to say that these guys might have something to say about it before it's all said and done.
Well, so I'm going to throw a curveball at you here. So I'm looking at this race in the spring. Now, given it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, right? Two different times of the year. This is a I'm looking at a 400 race versus a 500 lap race this time around. Take it for what you feel like it's worth.
Yep.
Your top three last year or in this spring race: Hamlin, Bell, Wallace. Elliott was your
Okay.
top, Hendrick in fourth. Larson was fifth. Logano was your top Penske in eighth. If you want to go top four, it was Priest in seventh. Blaney finished 11th. Byron finished 22nd.
Holy Christ.
If you're just going off of that.
Yeah,
Hamlin also went on a stretch where he led from lap 126 to 325. Had a brief change of position with Bell and then led the last however many. So you could pretty much say that Hamlin led from lap 126 to lap 400 at the end of that race.
yeah, he gave everybody the work that day.
Correct. So that was the spring race. If you're going to go, I guess, a different comparison with it, obviously looking at this race last year, the aforementioned Blaney won the race. Elliott was second. Larson was third. Byron was sixth. So,
That
yeah,
one gets a little more interesting. Now we're talking some names that could shake the shit up a little bit.
sure. But again, this is last year's. So just
Right, right.
take it for what you feel like it's worth.
Yup.
If I'm if I'm looking at the point standings, is it I don't know if how much it's going to be about can a guy get his way in. I think it's more of can somebody, i.e., a Bell or Larson, hurt themselves out.
Yeah, do they get themselves in trouble early?
And if there's one guy that would play that scenario, it'd be Larson.
Hung money.
I just, and you know what? It could be something through none of his own doing, but
Yep.
it's just the way that the luck has been going his way this year, and especially recently.
Yep.
It's my 2 cents worth.
I just can't get over the fact that we Joe Gibbs guys are the absolute favorite at this point to win the title. You'd be
Yeah.
silly to pick against them at this point.
No.
And if you get to a point here, and one of those two guys can lock themselves in on points if they, I would assume, correct?
Sorry, say that again.
When I'm looking at the standings here, would Bell, after one of those stages, have a chance to lock himself in?
No.
Okay. If Bell gets his way through, which I think he will, Bell gets through. I don't even know who I'd pick from that Hendrick camp. I don't even know that I'm considering anyone else, if I'm being honest.
I have a very hard time seeing this changing the way that it's set right now.
And they're just those Joe Gibbs cars are just too fast right now. I have a hard time picking against them.
Yep.
I could quietly see this be the year Christopher Bell gets it done. Not real flashy in the playoffs, but I could see him showing up in Phoenix with a rocket and just getting the job done.
He won at Phoenix earlier this year. So did Hamlin was second, Larson was third.
Correct.
And obviously everybody knew at that time like that was going to be a notebook building race.
Yep. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of crap that goes down here in Martinsville. It's going to make this interesting.
Oh yeah.
Do we get out that big old M word again or no?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, stop.
That we will have to tune in and find out. Either way, I don't think you could ask for much more with where we're at and the storylines we got. So, I mean, Sunday is going to be and then we're going to Martinsville. And if you're a race fan, you know what goes on at Martinsville. Front bumper or your rear bumper usually get good workout in. So, yeah, Sunday's going to be must watch.
It's the classic, whatever side of the door has more tire marks on it tells you what kind of race you had.
Correct. You hope it's the right and not the left.
Correct.
So, well, I guess we're going to find out on Sunday who your final four are. It's going to be an interesting afternoon. As you get two guys getting their Phoenix cars ready and everyone else is scrambling trying to get their Martinsville stuff together. So, any last thoughts before we jump into an insane section of news?
Let's go right into it.
Okay. All right. Cam, you got the first trunk. Fire away.
No, you're orange because you had.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were. Yep. You remember.
Okay. I guess I got the college racing section. They seem to like to get in the news. Cheapers. According to Chris Rice, as he had mentioned on, I believe it was Sirius XM when he was on there, he likes going there quite a bit. The alliance with RCR for their cup program will be over at the end of the year, so they will be on their own for their cup program in 2026. So that should be interesting. Speaking of their cup program, Joe White, the spotter for Ty Dillon, was fired upon his arrival at Talladega. AJ Allmendinger spotter Frank Denny is now being listed as the spotter for Ty Dillon, while TJ Bell is working with AJ Allmendinger. So Joe White was not minced to words on Twitter. I parked the bus. They fired me. I'm in an Uber back to the airport. A wild weekend. Probably in one of the most predictable announcements for Rams or Colleague's Ram truck program, Brendan Butterbean Queen will drive an entry full time in 2026. So, number to be announced at a later date, but that was probably the most predictable move that was being made for that Ram program. And then in some other looking ahead to Martinsville news, Garage 66 will go truck racing at Martinsville with Casey Mears. This will actually be Mears' Truck Series debut and his 600th start in NASCAR, as Pit Stop Diecast has come aboard to be the sponsor for that operation. So there's your weekly calling news section. Yeah.
Yep.
And you go like this. Go like this once in a while. So
not once in a while, frequently. I'll take this next section here. Jeff Stankwitz joins Tricon Garage on the competition staff for 2026. He is currently Grant Enfinger's crew chief, so making a jump over to Tricon is Jeff. Jim Bowman, he will leave Junior Motorsports to be the crew chief for Kyle Busch in the Cup Series in 2026. Obviously, the 8 camp has been terrible, and they're not going to change the driver, so let's change somebody else. We're getting a new crew chief for the old 8 machine. So We will see if that fixes the running for 31st weekly. Dirt Track World Championship returns to West Virginia Motor Speedway. Eldora will get 2 races on the Lucas Oil schedule next year. So changing up. We pose this question when we were together. Potential rotation maybe. But we will see in the future. Along those dirt lines here, Dalton Wilson announced he's departing JAR Motorsports. Josh Rice's name announces shortly after he is the driver for JAR Motorsports. So Josh Rice getting back in a full-time ride with JAR Motorsports. And then also in the dirt super late model world, Billy Hicks Racing and Donald McIntosh have parted ways. Both of them will be announcing their 2026 plans soon.
He was Lucas Oil Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
All right. Rounding it out here, starting off with a questionable move. F1 has signed a new broadcast deal with Apple TV, leaving ESPN after they served them for many years. Many people are questioning this, myself included, because I don't have Apple TV. I don't plan on getting Apple TV.
Come on.
I got enough subscriptions as it is for racing stuff. I don't need another one. Especially when I'm not going to be up for 7/8 of the schedule.
Well, you don't want to be up at 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning watching those guys zing
It
around.
was fine when I was down there because I was at the bar. I
Oh,
don't
you
do
could watch.
that anymore.
You could watch Verstappen lead all but 1 lap.
Actually, no, he's not that good this year.
Well, you get my point.
I do, 100%. Or watch no passing.
Correct.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, taking a lot of money to do this one. Brad Sweet, I should have saved this one for last, but I'm already here at it. So Brad Sweet announced at the High Limit Banquet last night, as we record here on Monday, that he is retiring from full-time driving. He's still going to do a part-time schedule. He wants to focus on family and obviously his business, running the High Limit Series. Honestly, definitely one of the greatest of all times
Yep.
at the sprint car deal, stepping down.
Yep. 5 World of Outlaw titles in a row, comes over, wins the inaugural High Limit, wins 6 in a row. Yeah, I saw it today. Casey Kane Racing, who he drove for, posted that they won 135 national touring races together.
Yep.
Like that is going. You want to talk about having some big shoes to fill for Casey Kane Racing?
Oh man.
Boy, oh boy.
But Casey Kane's also going to say, if you ever want a race, I got a card for you.
Yeah, I'll help you out. For sure. Just shocked, honestly.
Yeah.
And you got to remember he owns High Limit, or his owner in High Limit. And they bought the NARC as well out west. He promotes for $1. He's got that whole deal. So the man will have enough to do. That is for sure.
Correct. Yep. Along with being a family man.
Yep. You betcha.
Speaking of High Limit, they announced while they were at Lucas Oil earlier in the week that the 16th annual Jesse Hickett and Danielle McMillan Memorial Race will be a High Limit race next year. So that'll be a part of the High Limit schedule. And then finally, in the sprint car world, Stenhouse Marshall Racing announced that Spencer Baston will be taking over in that NOS Energy number 17 full time starting next year. Kyle Pruitt will be the crew chief. And then they will field a second car for Baston at the World Finals in Charlotte. Also, assuming that they will be running World Outlaws next year as they have for the past 7 years. So obviously that'll be confirmed later on. But Stenhouse Marshall Racing got their guy for next year.
Yep. All right. Okay, well, let's jump into. Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. I mean, looking at the list of guys, we talking on some heartstrings here. Boy. So I'll take the top. I'll take the first two. We'll just divide them up to a person.
Okay.
Casey Johnson wins the Alive for Five Super Late Model Championship at Dells Racing Park via his second place finish at the Falloween 100. Jordan DeVoy caps off the Tundra title with teammate Cody King with his effort on Saturday as well in that co-sanctioned race at Dells on Saturday.
I guess I could take this second two or can't. All right, looks like I'm taking the second two. Tristan Swanson leads all, goes from flag to flag and wins the following 100 at the Dells. His first Alive for Five race win. And then Bobby Pierce goes and wins back-to-back races or for the Dirt Track World Championships, wins again at Eldora.
We'll take these last two. Rico Abreu wins final two races of the season to clinch the high limit title. And then Brandon Reichenberger comes from a decent points deficit here to ultimately win his second straight Midwest truck title.
I mean, you say it's chugging at your heartstrings. I got a pretty definitive one here.
Bon voyage.
Rico. I mean, you want to talk about clinching a championship, not having to worry about what the others are doing. You just go out and win the final two races. Doesn't matter what the other two do when you win.
Yeah, Swanson led all 100 on Saturday.
Sure.
Cam.
Sheldon Haudenschild.
Oh my God, he was even on there. Are you serious?
I know, but I was thinking, I'm like, oh, he's on there. No. My first gut was Rico. But I mean, I think you can. They're all deserving, to be honest with you. All of them.
So did you voted Rico is what I'm hearing.
Final vote here.
Yeah, I'll vote Rico.
All right. God, we had a whole section of Midwest guys we could hand it to, and you all went with the national tour guy.
I know.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Rico Abreu, he's definitely a two-timer for sure. I know that.
Two-timer. Yep.
We don't have any three-timers yet.
Nope.
That we're working on that now. But Rico Abreu, your wheelman of the week. Okay, so let's just look at the schedule really quick. Let's just look at the week ahead. Kind of an abbreviated week in terms of races coming up, if we're being honest. As we look through it, NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour, they're at Martinsville with the NASCAR trucks, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. USAC Amsoil Sprint Cars head to Central Arizona. World of Outlaw Sprint Cars go to 81 Speedway and Arrowhead. The Cars Tour West is at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway. And then really, you got USAC Amsoil's second night at Central Arizona, and Formula One is at the Mexico Grand Prix.
Couple of quick notes here. One, World Outlaws, Jason Johnson Classic, prestigious race for those guys at Arrowhead.
Yep.
And then two, the USAC Oil Sprint Cars, that Central Arizona Raceway, championship weekend for them guys.
Yes. Yep.
It's just pointing that out.
So lots of championships getting wrapped up here.
Technically, what Wheel and Modified is also championship race.
Yep. So speaking of champs, we'll rip through these real quick. Devin Moran wins his first Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series championship. Rico clinched both the regular high limit series championship along with the midweek money series. Scrolling down a little further, Brandon Reichenberger goes back to back and wins his second consecutive Midwest Truck Series title. The Jordan DeVoy and Cody King team and duo wins the Tundra Super Late Models. Cars Tour, late model stock champion Landon Lewis Pro Late Models, Ben Mayer. And then, as we have mentioned, Casey Johnson, alive for 5 at Dell's, his second championship as well. So, those are your champs for the week. Let's make a couple race picks and we'll get you out of here for this final episode of the week. All right, Martinsville.
I don't know what I want to do. I know what my heart wants to tell me to do, but I don't know if my brain agrees with it. You know what? Guy can dream, right?
Yep.
Give me Blaney.
Yeah, I knew better than that. Is it me?
It
Yep.
is you.
Oh yeah, because I picked the race winner last week.
Stop.
Yeah, I can't actually believe you managed to pick a race winner at Talladega. That's actually wild. Chase Elliott.
Oh.
He led 129 laps of this race last year, by the way.
So for everybody, that's how he does his research. 2024 Martinsville fall results. But no, he doesn't need to knock it out of the park this week, but he's gonna, and it's gonna put lock 3 Joe Gibbs cars into the final 4, and Joe Gibbs is gonna sweep the round of 8. Give me the 20 machine of Christopher Bell.
All right. I want to bring this up real quick. Our fantasy playoff points. We got ourselves a battle going here.
Yeah, where was that at?
I got it listed out here.
Go ahead.
Unless you want the full thing, I only got the top 3.
No, talk those top 3 because they're all within 24 points of each other?
Yeah, so it's myself in the lead right now. Cam, you're in second. You are 23 points behind me. Kel, you're 24 points behind me. As we go into the final 2 races here.
Yeah. I'm on that.
We're within striking distance here.
The bad part is I got a lot of guys that have 0 of 5 uses left.
Oh, I'm sitting pretty.
I'm telling you, I went to the bank early. I wasn't gonna leave a 1 in there for any of them guys. So
I'm setting myself exactly where I want to be.
that's the playoff standings for the fantasy. We just realized they were keeping track of those. So, all right. Well, we've kind of covered it all today. Truck race and super late model race and wing sprint car race and a slew of news. We solved the NASCAR Cup Series Final 4 ? And made a few race picks. But as always, as we mentioned, if your tracks are still open or running fall specials or they have racing going on, be sure to pay them a visit one more time, send them into the off season on a positive note, and making sure that your local racetracks are taken care of. Again, as always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. But until then, we'll see you next week for another edition of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast.